Hello everyone, so I'm back with another medium question, path with maximum gold. So in this question, in a gold mine, that is a grid of size m into n, here our m is 5 and our n is 3. So return the maximum amount of gold you can collect under the following condition. Every time you locate a cell, you will collect all the gold inside that cell. So at whatever cell we are, we need to take all of its gold. From your position, you can walk one step to the left, right, up or down. So from any cell, we can go to the 4 directions or the 4 cells if they are available. You can't visit the same cell more than once. So the thing is that if you start from this 3 and then you go to this 4 and then you go to this 5, from this 5 to reach again 4, it's not possible because it's already visited. Okay. Never visit a cell with 0 gold. So for example, for this 3, we have only this path because the rest of its directions have cells that contain 0. You can start and stop collecting gold from any position in the grid that has some gold. So in this problem, we can start from any of the cell. From any cell, we can start our traveling, and in that path in the matrix, we have to find the maximum amount of gold that we catch. This is just a DFS or BFS problem over the matrix. In this matrix, we can start taking the path or collecting the gold from any of the cells. So on each cell, we will try to start our DFS function, and from all of its direction, we will see which direction we are getting the maximum gold. That is, from which direction there will be a path that will give the maximum, not just the adjacent cells. And we won't make DFS calls over 0. And if we found 0, then that will be our base case to return 0. And for each cell, we have to include its gold. Let's take a closer look to this example for a dry run. So we will start making calls from the first cell. We can go in any order. So why not just traverse the matrix as we usually do? So currently for this cell, it will make a call on its right. And the right cell is 0, so we cannot have a path from here. And in the question, it's mentioned that you cannot go to a 0 cell. So if we found that our current cell has 0 gold, so we'll just simply return 0 from that call. And it returns 0. Then from right, it will call left. And its left does not exist as the indices goes out of bound. So here also, we will return 0 because there is no such path where we can get some gold. Now it makes a call upward, and it does not exist, so it will also return 0. And finally, down. And down, we have 2. And 2 is not 0, so we will find now the neighbors of 2. First, it will make a call to its right, 0, it will return 0. And left is out of bound, so it will return 0. Then it will call up. And now we encounter a problem. Because we have come from 1 to 2, we cannot again visit 1. So we somehow need to mark it as visited. So for marking it as visited, you can simply flip it to 0, or you can also use a matrix again, but let's just flip it to 0. So it's flipped to 0. And now, it's so when we are making a call or we arrive at a certain cell, we will flip that value to 0 just to mark it as visited. So now it's marked as visited. We will continue going down. Now, you understand that this call would be made and it will return 0 because it's already visited and we marked it as 0. So now the current cell value would be 0 and it will return 0. Now down, 3 has a neighbor to its right. Before making this call, we'll also now flip this 2 to 0. And now this 3 will call its right. It has 4. Now 4, this will be flipped to 0. Now 4 will also be flipped to 0 and it will call its right. Now the right of 5 does not exist. And left of 5 is 0, so it will also return 0. It's going to get 0 from both of these directions. But from up, 6 exists. So 6 will go, and 6 has no neighbors. This is 0, and this must have been 0 because it's visited. 6 is also turned to 0, and then it will call to 7. Now, this is the first cell which has no neighbors. It is out of bound, it is out of bound. It is 0, so it is already visited. And so, also the downwards is also visited because that's where we came from, so that is also 0. So what do you think we should return him? we should return 7 only because it has no other neighbors. So the maximum amount of gold that you can collect from that cell is the gold present in that cell only. So it will return 7 here. This will return 7 here. Let's make it from orange, otherwise they will mix with the colors. It will return 7 here. When it returns 7 here, what are the calls left for 6? There are no calls left for 6. So 6 will add its value to 7. And now you see that you need the current value that you have flipped to 0. So this means that in the cell that you are flipping to 0, for that cell, you need to save its previous value before making these calls. And we will see that you will need to place this value again after making the calls in backtracking, because we are doing this when we are starting our path from this cell. We can start our path from any of the cell. Okay, so here it will return 7, and now this 6 we must have saved it somewhere in a variable. In the code I have saved it with temp. So it will return 6 plus 7. That is whatever answer it has gotten from all of its calls, the maximum of it, and plus the current value. 6 plus 7, that would be 13. And now 13 plus 5, what do you think that would be? 13 plus 5 would be 18, so it returns 18 here. And now if we look at 3, it returns 8, and now, it will return 18. But now we have calls of 4 left. We have gone to left, right. Now up is 0, but we haven't moved to down. So now we will move down, and we see that there is 3, so you can take this 3, but this 3 has all of its values 0. So it will return 0 from here, 0 from here, 0 from here, and 0 from up here because it's already marked visited. And so it will return 3. And this returns 3. And here we have 18. This is 3 from here, and this is 18 from the right cell. And now we cannot move to both of them, because if we go from 4 to 5, we cannot come back to 4 to go to 3. And similarly, if we go to 3, we cannot go back to 4 to go to 5, because you can visit a cell at most 1. So what we need to do is take the maximum of them. So the maximum of them is 18, and now 4 will be added to the maximum of them, that is 22. So 22 will be returned here, and now 22 plus 3 will be returned here as 25. 25 plus 2 will be returned here as 27. And this is our 1, so it will return 27 plus 1, 28. And that's our answer for this iteration. Now you may start at any of these another cells, because this is the first cell that you have done this. And you'll have to start over for this 0 also. And because it's 0, it won't make calls. But for this 7 also, you will start exploring paths. And that would be nothing but this path again, just in backwards. And that will give you the same answer. And again, for this 6, now this 6 will give you this answer, because from this 6, you can either go to this direction, the upwards direction, this one, or you can move to downwards for this. And either way, you are going to lose an element, and that's not going to give you the maximum path. So what we have done in code is just make DFS calls in the non-zero cells, and for each cell, we need the original matrix. So what we are doing is we are flipping it to 0. So that's why we need backtracking to make this value again what it was in the grid for the next DFS calls. So that's all for this video. If you have any doubts in this video, or you are having a problem in this code or anything, feel free to comment down. Okay, so thank you. Bye bye.